Hey guys, hope you all are doing well. I have a lot to say, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. Answering your question in a US specific context, my thought is that the reason, or speculation that the reason why atheism is on the rise in the US is mostly due to perceptions of the church as a whole by society and partially to the actions of the church as a whole itself. For example, I recommend a book called Mission Drift. And what Mission Drift does is the authors look at various Christian organizations and institutions and how they have fallen away from their mission. And because they've drifted away from their mission, they lost their Christ-oriented focus, and as a result have struggled to carry out their goals. For example, when we were young, VeggieTales was like something a lot of kids watched, but nowadays, like, you don't see modern VeggieTales. VeggieTales still exists as a company. You can look it up. There are still episodes and stuff like that of VeggieTales, but the most recent stuff is garbage. It's way different. And I would say a lot of that, not just for VeggieTales, for Big Idea Company, but for a lot of Christianity in general, there's this problem of mission drift. When a church focuses on things other than specifically the gospel itself, then it sort of misses its message. Take, for example, Westboro Baptist and its protesting at funerals, or various other groups that like put politics or put other issues ahead of the goal of spreading the mission of Christ. Think about how that spreads the perception of Christianity as a whole. I mean, because of Westboro Baptist, a lot of people see evangelical as super extreme zealots. They're overly political, and so therefore outside perception of the church is bad. So this combination of zealots that are extreme on one end and then misguided church leadership on the other end leads to two problems. Leads to outsiders that are not Christian seeing little incentive to join the church because they just see it as highly judgmental and specifically, you have to be this way or else we will always go to the complete extreme of persecuting you. The church is a persecutor. Meanwhile, those who are in the church and grow up in it, who see churches that are not focused on their mission and just see everyone attending because they attend, they're less likely to see the true meaning because the church that they're in has drifted from the mission. And their parents and their support, like their friends, they see that they're going to church just because they go to church. And so because we had this culture where a lot of people go to church, which was a great blessing in previous decades, because it's been so normalized, people don't see as much of the significance. They sort of drift away in that respect. Now, as to a spiritual need, I would completely agree that there is a need inherent in everyone for something spiritual, and they seek to fulfill it whether they use religion or not. One of the biggest examples I would say that goes to the dawning of our modern era would be the Enlightenment. When the French Revolution occurred, a lot of people wanted the leadership, Robespierre, they wanted to shape national opinion to create this sort of like support for France. And they struggled to really do that. They struggled to make a national French identity that would be forceful and make a robust republic. So their solution, they created what was called the cult of the supreme being, in which they celebrated reason. And it wasn't really successful, but they recognized, even though all Enlightenment philosophes were pretty adamant against religion, okay, almost all, a couple weren't, but most all of them were pretty adamant against religion, they recognized religion was a rallying source for people. And if you wanted a powerful nation that was successful, at least religion would get the people motivated. It drew the people in that sense. So there is a spiritual need because it fulfills something. If you're spiritually fulfilled, that means you have this, you're satisfied in a way. There's a lot of people longing, and they usually use material things to do it, but spiritually, if you're spiritually satisfied, then material, like the problems of economics and things along like that, become lesser of an issue, especially in a specifically mathematical country managing standpoint. If you have a bunch of people who are very religious, they're going to be less focused on their economic outcome and revolting in order to achieve that economic outcome. That's why Nietzsche was very critical of religion, because he saw religion bringing people to look instead of at their immediate circumstances, but rather beyond that, to something beyond themselves. And so as a result, they weren't willing to take harsh action to assert their own rights and authority, which Nietzsche thought was of, quote, slave morality instead of an aristocratic morality or good morality. But to bring it past the Enlightenment, presidents from Washington all the way up to Reagan and beyond acknowledged the benefits of spiritual health in this country, calling on faith as a great supporter of society, not just democracy as a whole. Sociologists such as Robert Putnam in his article Bullying Alone, The Decline of American Social Capital like faith and other organizations that connect people and bring them beyond the scope of their own self-interest are really what helps build like society positively. And in a lot of ways, spiritual health organizations that increase spiritual health, faith-related institutions, they do that. They connect people beyond just their specific demographic. They connect people to of other income levels, other races, other ideologies. So to summarize, I kind of think that the decline in religious adherence in the United States is primarily due to mission drift. And because of this mission drift, you have an increasing number of atheists in the United States, because religion just seems something that's persecutory or is just misguided. On the other hand, spiritual health is extremely important, not just for connecting people, but in the government sense and maintaining a society. A lot of conservatives acknowledge that religion helps maintain an order. Why do you think the Nazi Party wanted a religious following basically of the Nazi Party? Or why the communist countries of Russia and China really emphasized following the party state? It's because the spiritual aspect, I mean, it's a need everyone has. And so religion, like specifically Christianity, is a great way to fulfill that need. And so I would argue that there definitely is an aspect to it, especially if every government out there kind of relies on it for a society to function. Anyway, those are my unfounded thoughts, but I look forward to hearing your response, Robert, and I look forward to the upcoming questions. It is great to hear from you all, and I look forward to hearing more videos from you guys soon.